Modim l'simcha rabotai. We are continuing with our Mishna Yomi Masechet Nazir. We are up to Perek Vav Mishnah Aleph. Today's Mishnayot should be Le'elu Nishmat Neria ben Svetlana Aranbai V'Eliyahu ben Burcha Yisraelov Chana Bad Miriam and Sason ben Raya Menuchatam Began Eden. Amen. And Le'avdil ben Chaim Lechaim V'Derefua Shelemav Daniel Shalom ben Rosa Betor Shar Cholei Yisrael. Due to the preparation for the holiday of Passover and the Chag itself, we missed a few days of our Mishna Yomi. Therefore, in this video today, Bezrat Hashem Bli Neder, we will be making up several of the Mishnayot to catch up to the correct day. We begin with Perek Vav Mishnah Aleph. Shilosha minin asurin benazir. Three kinds of things are prohibited to a Nazir. Hatum'ah, vatiglachat, vayotze min agafen. Becoming tameh from a corpse, meaning he may not allow himself to become tameh with the tum'ah of a human corpse. Shaving the hair of the head, and eating or drinking products of the grapevine. As the verse states in Bamidbar chapter 6 verses 3 through 6, Va'anavim lachim vivishim lo yochel, tar lo yavor al rosho, al nefesh met lo yavor. He may not eat moist or dried grapes, no razor may pass over his head, he may not approach a dead person. The Mishnah elaborates on the prohibition against eating and drinking products of the grapevine. V'chol hayotze min hagefen mitztarfin ze im ze. All products of the grapevine, such as moist grapes, dry grapes, skins, and pits, combine with one another to add up to the minimum amount a Nazir must eat to be liable for the punishment of lashes for violating this prohibition. How large is this amount? Now, although a person is forbidden to eat even the smallest amount of a forbidden food, he is not punished by the court with lashes unless he eats a certain minimum amount. He is not liable to lashes until he eats or drinks an olive's volume of grapes or wine. Now, the size, the volume of an olive is known as a kazayit, literally like an olive. This is the minimum amount of most forbidden foods that a person must eat to be punished by lashes, as the Gemara discusses in Masechet Eruvin, page 4b. This Tana maintains that the Nazir prohibition is no different from other food prohibitions, and a Nazir is not liable to lashes unless he eats a kazayit of grape products. However, this Tana also maintains that the kazayit minimum applies to wine as well, even though it is drunk, not eaten. He holds that by listing in Bamidbar chapter 6 verse 2 all of the grape product prohibitions, both liquid and solid, as one long series connected by the word Vav, and the Torah means to teach us that they share the same minimum measures. Therefore, just as the minimum a Nazir must eat to be liable to lashes is a kazayit, as with most forbidden foods, so too the minimum he must drink to be punished with lashes is also a kazayit. This is how the Rav understands the Mishnah based on the Gemara on page 38b in Masechet Nazir. Now, this is unusual, the commentaries explained, because with regard to laws dealing with drinking, we usually say that the minimum amount is a revit, a quarter log. So, just as a side note, to measure an olive's volume, a kazayit of wine, a cup is filled with wine and an olive is placed inside it. The amount that overflows is considered an olive's amount of wine, as Tosfot explained in Masechet Nazir, page 38b. Now, this ruling is a change from an earlier ruling. Mishnah Rishonat she'ishteh revit yain, the first version of the Mishnah, meaning the way this Mishnah was originally taught, said that a Nazir does not become liable for lashes until he drinks or eats a quarter log of wine or grapes. Now, the first version of the Mishnah also accepted that the Torah means to equate eating grapes with drinking wine. However, the first version held that the minimum for eating is learned from the minimum for drinking. Now, prohibitions dealing with drinking, such as not entering the temple after drinking wine, have a minimum of a revi'it, a quarter log, which is about 3 times as much as a kazayit. Therefore, the prohibition for a Nazir to drink wine is also a revi'it. And since the Torah equates eating with drinking, the minimum amount a Nazir must eat before being punished with lashes is also a revit, a quarter log. That was the original first version of the Mishnah. Now, the next Tana agrees with the first Tana that the minimum amount a Nazir must eat or drink before being punished with lashes is an olive volume, a kazayit. But he maintains that even non-grape products can sometimes contribute towards this minimum. Rabbi Akiva says, Afilu shara pito bayayin v'yesh ba kedei letzaref kazayit. Even if he soaked his bread in wine and there is enough in the mixture to add up to a single olive's volume, chayav, he he is liable to lashes for eating the mixture. According to Rabbi Akiva, the permissible bread combines with the prohibited wine to complete the minimum amount and make him subject to the punishment of lashes. Although this is not true with regard to most prohibitions in the Torah, Rabbi Akiva learns from the words in the verse mentioned above, V'chol mishrat anavim lo tishteh, he may not, nor may he drink anything in which grapes have been soaked, that the food that is eaten together with the grape product also becomes part of the prohibition and counts towards its minimum. As the Rav explains the Mishnah based on the Gemara on page 35b in Masechet Nazir. And the Rav does tell us, Ven Rabbi Akiva, the Halacha does not follow the opinion of Rabbi Akiva. That is in Mishnah Aleph. Mishnah Bet begins, V'chayav alayayin b'fnei atzmo, a Nazir is liable to lashes for drinking wine by itself, V'ala anavim b'fnei atzman, or eating grapes by themselves, V'ala chaltzanim b'fnei atzman, V'ala zagim b'fnei atzman, or for eating chaltzanim by themselves, or zagim by themselves, meaning for eating grape skins or grape seeds, as the Mishnah will explain below. Among the things that Torah states a Nazir may not eat are from chaltzanim to zag. This is in Sefer Bamidbar, chapter 6, verse 4. These refer to grape seeds and grape skins. The Tanaim at the end of our Mishnah disagree about which word means seeds and which means skins. Now, it is not necessary to eat all the parts of the grape to be liable for punishment. As long as a Nazir eats the required minimum of even one part of the grape, he is liable to lashes. Now, the next Tana disputes this. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, a Nazir is not liable for eating grape seeds and skins unless he eats 2 grape seeds and their skin. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah follows the view that chaltzanim are the seeds and zagim the skin. Since the verse states that a Nazir is prohibited to eat from chaltzanim plural to zag singular, this implies that the Nazir is liable for eating skins and seeds only if he eats a minimum of 2 seeds, chaltzanim, together with their skin zag. A grape has only 1 skin, but usually has at least 2 seeds. Now, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah differs with the previous Tana in 2 ways. According to him, if a Nazir ate 1 grape skin and 2 seeds, he is liable to lashes even if he did not eat the minimum amount, which is a kazayit, usually necessary for lashes. Since the Torah makes a point of saying 2 seeds and their skin, it is as if the Torah said that he is liable for eating these pieces, whatever their size. On the other hand, if he ate only skins or only seeds, he is not liable, according to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, even if he ate a kazayit. This is how the Tosfot Yom Tov explains the Mishnah based off how he explains the Rav. Now the Mishnah identifies chaltzanim and zagim. Elu hen chaltzanin ve'elu hen zagim. Which parts of the grape are called chaltzanim and which parts are called zagim? Chaltzanim elu achitzonim. The chaltzanim are the outer parts of the grape, meaning the skins. Hazagim elu apinimim, and the zagim are the inner parts of the grape, meaning the seeds. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Now the next Tana disagrees and maintains that chaltzanim are the seeds and zagim the skins. Rabbi Yossi Omer shelo titeh. Rabbi Yossi says, so that you should not make a mistake in identifying the zagin, remember the following. Kizug shel bema, a grape is like a zug, a bell that is hung on the neck of an animal. Bells were hung around the necks of cows and other animals so they would make noise when they walked, and it would make it easier for their owners to locate them. Hachitzon zug, the outer part of the bell is called zug. Vapinimi inbal, and the inner part of the bell, the clapper, is called inbal. Accordingly, in a grape, the outer part skin is the zag, and the inner part, the seed, is called chaltzan. Since zagin means skins, as indicated by the comparison to the zug of a bell, chaltzanim must mean seeds. And that is then of Mishnah Bet. Mishnah Gimel begins, Stam Nezirut Shloshim Yom. An unspecified Nazirut is for 30 days, meaning if someone declared himself a Nazir and did not specify for how long he is a Nazir for 30 days, this is the minimum term of Nazirut. This was already taught in chapter 1, Mishnah 3. It is repeated here to explain the reason for the next teaching of the Mishnah. Gilach o shegilchu listim, if he shaved his head during his term of Nazirut, or if bandit shaved his head against his will, meaning in other words, whether he shaved his head willingly or by force, as Rashi translates it in Masechet Nazir, page 39a. Soter Shloshim Yom, he forfeits 30 days of his term, meaning he must observe another 30 days of Nazirut before he can conclude his term, because he needs 30 days worth of hair on his head to perform the mitzvah of shaving his head at the end of his Nazirut. Since a Nazir shaves his head at the end of the standard 30-day term, we see that the mitzvah of shaving does not require more than 30 days worth of hair. Since the reason for this law is that he needs 30 days worth of hair to be able to shave, if his head was shaved in the middle of a long Nazirut and there were still 30 or more days left in his term, he does not need to keep any extra days, since he will in any case have a 30-day growth of hair by the time he finishes his term. Even in a standard 30-day Nazirut, if he has 20 days left in his term when his head is shaved, he needs to keep only an extra 10 days The Mishnah statement that he forfeits 30 days applies only when his head was shaved at the last day of his term, as Tosfot explained on page 39 in Masechet Nazir. Now the Mishnah teaches what is included in the prohibition of a Nazir shaving his head before the end of his term. Nazir shegilach ben bezuk ben betar, a Nazir who shaved his head with the scissors or with the razor, or shesifsef, or who pulled out his hair by hand. In the Gemara on page 39b, Nazir learns from the wording of the verse that the prohibition is not limited to cutting hair with a razor. Kol shu chayav, even if he removed just the smallest amount, even a single hair, he is liable to lashes for violating the prohibition. However, this is only if he cut or plucked hair so close to the head that there was not enough of that strand left to fold back to the root. If enough of the hair does remain to fold back, he does not receive lashes, as the Rambam writes in Echad Nezirut, chapter 5, halacha 11. Although a Nazir receives lashes for removing even one hair, he does not forfeit any days from his Nezirut until he removes most of the hairs of his head, as the Rav also points out on the Mishnah. Now the Mishnah teaches which actions a Nazir may do with his hair, even though they might cause the hair to come out, and which actions are prohibited. Nazir chufef umfasfes, a Nazir may rub his hair with his hand or scratch it with his nails or even with the utensil, provided that he does not intend to remove any hairs. Since he does not intend to remove any hairs and is not certain that he will remove any hairs, he is allowed to rub and scratch his hair. Avalos sorek, but he may not comb his hair with a comb. Since a comb always removes at least some hairs, he may not use a comb even if he does not intend to remove any hairs. Another action that is prohibited for a Nazir to do with his hair, Rabbi Yishmael Omer, Rabbi Yishmael says, Lo yachof ba'adama, a Nazir may not shampoo his hair with earth, because it causes the hair to fall out. In ancient times, earth containing certain types of minerals was used for washing hair. Rabbi Yishmael forbids a Nazir to use these types of earth for shampoo because they too will certainly remove some hairs. And the Rav does tell us, Rabbi Yishmael, the Halakha does follow the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael. That is in Mishna Gimel.